righty. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Legalize It, Don't Criticize It. I'm one of the Green Goddesses on behalf of Sonia. I'm here to give you another bonus interview from one of the leaders in our industry. Get ready to please understand that this is the place to be for everything cannabis, hemp, and CBD. And we get to speak to some of the best people in the industry. And today I'm so excited, you guys, to have the opportunity to interview this wonderful woman who has been blazing in this cannabis industry. And so I'd like for Beth Stavola to join us, please. Beth, please, welcome to Legalize It, Don't Criticize It. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Nicole. I love the Green Goddesses, by the way. That's awesome.
That's Sonia's. That's Sonia's. Yes.
Okay.
That's her claim. Did I say your last name right?
No, it's Beth Stavola.
Beth Stavola. I apologize. So
no problem.
That.
So I'm the Chief Operating Officer and President of one of the public cannabis companies that trades on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Wow.
And we were one of, I actually keep saying that we were the first company to do an RTO, meaning a reverse merger into a Canadian shell. I think we were the second though, but we certainly were doing it when it wasn't as popular as it is now. So we've been public since January of 2017, and it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, that's so exciting. So tell me more about you and where you're from and how you even got involved in this space. How did you get into this cannabis space?
We'll call it better lucky than smart. And that's always good. We all need luck, right? I worked on Wall Street for most of my career, selling deals as an institutional equity salesperson I spent the last 10 years at Jefferies. So I sold a lot of deals. So to do my own public offering and be a public company officer was so exciting. And also as a female entrepreneur in this industry, I have 6 children. So Yeah, 5 daughters and a son, so I'm all about female leadership. And so about 6.5 years ago, it was in 2012, I had an opportunity to invest $1 million in medical marijuana in Arizona. I was just looking at deals because I had retired from the daily commute to New York for the 7 a.m. meeting. And it was intriguing to me. And it was something different. And I sold a lot of internet deals and they weren't popular early on. In 1999, you could barely sell them. It was hard, going into 2000. And it was really the scrappy hedge funds that were the ones who really saw this vision. So I'll go with my better lucky than smart, but I saw something about our world changing and the perception of this plant changing. And I grew up in a very conservative Irish Catholic family that marijuana was not used in the same sentence as medicine or in the same sentence that this is something that's good for you. So it was a tough sale to the extended family for a while.
But not anymore.
Not anymore. No, Nicole, my mom literally was like, "What are you doing?" And now she's like, "Guess what Beth and Julie do at her country club?" She's all proud. So no,
it's cool now. You made it cool for your family, and I'm sure that came along with education because that's where it starts, right? Once you learn what the plant actually can do and how it interacts with our bodies. Yeah.
Most people that have a huge problem with specifically medical marijuana, they just haven't been educated. Exactly what you just said. And once I started to get educated about it, I became so incredibly passionate. I mean, when you see a guy with Parkinson's take a little dab of an oil on his tongue and you see the shaking go like this. I mean, how do you
Where's the argument? Yes.
I'm with you.
I'm in the same boat. And so I am also a patient. And so I know how important it is to have access to the plant and be able to source it. Okay, so go back to how you got into this. Tell me more about that part.
So I got on a plane and I never did a deal with this deal broker before. Everything kind of had hair on it and just didn't seem right. So, but this was intriguing. I got on a plane, I flew to Arizona. I came back, I told my husband I was investing $1 million in medical marijuana. And, you know, a couple of expletives inside this statement, but, you know, you've completely lost it now, basically was his.
Right.
And then he started getting passionate about it too, once we really saw what it was doing for people. But the first license that I bought was on the border of Mexico in the town of Douglas. And if anybody listening doesn't know what Douglas is famous for, it is famous for the 20 plus year underground tunnel that El Chapo had from Mexico. And you actually had to open the dispensary in the region that was originally assigned to you by Arizona Department of Health. So I literally had to go down there in the town of Douglas, where there's a pretty decent amount of crime on the border there, and open a dispensary, and it was exciting. We've moved that dispensary now to the Apache Junction area, and then I hooked up with two women, a mother and daughter, Michelle Majors and Sandy Clifford. I purchased those licenses in Mesa, and we all started working together, a bunch of women together, women promoting women caring about women. I wish you could see my whole office right now, because if I was able to show you, it's all women, but it's not. I have a lot of guys too, but
Yes, no, I completely understand. Believe me. It's so funny that you say that. We're going to DC next week for the Congressional Black Caucus. I'm the Georgia chapter president for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We're a lobbying and advocacy group. And so we're honoring, our theme this year at the convention is going to be Black women in cannabis, just honoring. And so, we know that we're already the minority, women in general, right? And so it's just amazing to see and understand that sisterhood and that growth that comes with being a part of a group that, we so often find ourselves separated in so many ways, but we genuinely, and would you agree with me, that this is a true opportunity to create generational wealth and really true CEOs and leaders of an industry for the first time in so long since the new industry.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I would like to see more C-suite positions at large companies held by women, minorities. There's a lot of positions out there, and I think it's really important.
That we talk to each other and support each other and help us, because we already are the minorities in this industry that's growing slowly but surely. So tell me more about what you actually do in the industry. What does your corporation do?
So we're mainly based in the US, but we do have a Canadian division, which is our international division. And that's really interesting right now, because we can basically, now Canada is, more progressive, obviously, than we are on a federal level. And October 17th, we're going to see federal legalization start finally in Canada. There's other countries that are now, it's almost like a new country every day talking about legalizing marijuana, and also talking about import and export opportunities. This is a really good opportunity, in my opinion, for US brands that may have an international arm, a Canadian arm, to actually produce in Canada that brand. So using the IP from here, so call it MPX Concentrates or MPX Infusions, and be able to have a real international presence. I mean, the exciting times are when we can have MPX concentrates produced in Canada, but have import-export opportunities with Germany or Australia. That's very exciting. And then we're a multi-state operator, and we continue to put applications in for new states that are offering both medical and adult use programs. And it's extremely competitive now. And my team of ladies here just got off of a very difficult month of August where everybody worked pretty much every weekend and doing the New Jersey application. So our home base office is in New Jersey, our corporate headquarters. And that's where I live. So it's been so difficult for me to come back from these other states that were medical marijuana producers. And I see what it's doing to help people of, in Arizona, a Nevada, a Maryland, and coming back here and not being able to see the same results. But now with our new governor, Phil Murphy, and
exciting,
super smart wife, Tammy Murphy, they have really opened up this program in New Jersey. And so I will be really excited with my team to hopefully operate in our home state.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you are finding your way back home. That's an interesting storyline. I'm kind of doing the same thing. Both my parents are from the Caribbean. I'm first generation American. And so my international endeavors are finding ways to help start that conversation in places in the Caribbean and in South America. And so I feel like I'm going back home as close as I am to where they come from. And so it's amazing how we find our ways back home. And also at the same time with this plant being able to save people and communities and countries and help with their economies. And, so I just love that and how we find our ways back home. That's an amazing story. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And it's going to be it's already exciting times. It's going to be even more exciting over the next 12 to 18 months to see what happens.
That's what I've given myself. I thought I had 3 to 5 years to retire in cannabis, but it looks like I might have 1 to 3. I think that it's kind of coming fast. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening, especially globally, you can't just pay attention to what's happening here. Absolutely. This is a global effort, especially when we talk about hemp. So the licenses, let me go back to what industry. Sure. The licenses, you actually own dispensaries or?
We do.
Okay.
So we own dispensaries, we own production laboratories, and we also own cultivation facilities. So we actually run the gamut of the entire industry. And that's one of the challenges of the industry. Because most industries, you're just a master of one section of that industry, and in our
or distributor.
Exactly. And in our industry, you really have to be or good at, or at least try to be good at everything.
Yes, that you can touch. Because there's so many processes to the plant, and so yes, it makes sense to own all of everything that you need, to help process the plant to make it what you. So do you deal just with cannabis, or you also deal with hemp?
So I do deal with hemp. I have a private company that is called CBD for Life. We joke and say it's our side hustle, but it's a CBD health and beauty wellness company that actually won the Hollywood Beauty Awards this last March for Best Brand of the Year. So it was really exciting because my whole team of ladies here went to LA, and to just show you how big it really was, I went up either before or after Britney Spears. She won the best fragrance. So it was so exciting for a cannabis or hemp brand to get the best brand of the year at the Beauty Awards.
Yes, that's awesome.
It was cool.
I'm so excited for you. That is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
That rocks. Yes. Okay, so that's one of your stories that you can tell the grandkids. So I love if they still know who Britney Spears is at that time. But I think that it's amazing that you're touching so many different facets of the industry. And so many of our readers and viewers are living in states where medical cannabis is not accessible to them. And so what do you see like, what do they need to be passionate about in order to try to get into this industry, you know, or what do you think the benefits are of it being legalized overall?
So the benefits overall of being legalized, I mean, you're looking at, if you look at the US Tax Foundation, they're estimating that, you know, between federal, local, you know, state and local taxes, we could be looking at $30 billion in taxes if we federally legalize this plant. I mean, all of us know that, you know, that would be so amazing for our schools, for our infrastructure. And you know, I would say anybody getting into the industry, perseverance, you are going to get knocked down 1 million times. If you don't have perseverance, probably maybe do something else, because we get beat up all the time, you know, because one thing or another, whether it's banking or whether it's 150 licenses in New Jersey, that for 6 spots. That's super competitive. I actually thought it was going to be a little more competitive, but we'll see how it goes. We're saying a lot of prayers in this office.
But but you've been doing this now for some time. I mean, almost 20 years now, right? You said 1999.
No, so in 1999 I was selling internet stocks, but
okay, right, before it was cool.
Right, exactly, before it was cool. Now,
and then so the cannabis.
Right. So this is about 6.5 years. But
okay, got it.
That's like dog years. So it's about 57 years in any other
That's
industry.
Right. That's right. And it's moving so fast. I like to say that the window is slowly closing, even though it's not open all the way, right? Yes. Because it's like if it's made legal federally, then it's almost like the floodgates will open, but they won't be open for very long. And it's almost like once it's legal, it's almost too late, right?
Right.
To get into this. And and so how, you know, so many, you know, you've been doing it long enough that you are in it. This is it, right? And so this is perseverance, like you said, that's what's gotten you through, you know. So how have you maintained staying in this? I think that you mentioned it earlier, it's probably growth and understanding many facets of it, but explain to us how you stay in it for so long now, almost going on 10 years in such a young industry.
So, you know, I would say, you know what, a lot of my employees are my inspiration. Yeah. Like every single person in our company has stock options. Everybody is an owner. You feel like an owner. And that I learned from Jeffries. And that was something that I really took with me to this company. Wow. And so every year in January, we will have an award of stock options for our employees. I've seen employees in my office buy condos, houses. That is extraordinarily satisfactory to me.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's what keeps you in the longevity. Yes, you've built a great team, and being able to keep that team loyal to the cause, to the clients, to the company. That's amazing. As I build my brand, I'm going to keep that in mind. That is
it is worth it while maintaining a very professional organization of 250 employees. Wow. We still all feel like family, and that's important to me.
That is huge. And that small number, and it's not small, it's very significant, of 250 employees that run this very smooth operation. Like you said, that's a big family. And it's such a blessing to be able to find those people that have really been dedicated to what it is that you all are trying to build and accomplish. And that's amazing. And so what is your mission? What is your mission in your work? And you know, why do you do what you do?
I would love to become the biggest marijuana public company in the United States. I would love to be the canopy growth. Yeah, canopy growth. You're looking at a company that 3 3 years ago. Nobody quote me on the exact market cap. I think I may be off by 10 or 20 million, but we'll call Canopy Growth was two different companies. It was Tweed and Bedrocam. You'll say Tweed was maybe a 300 million market cap company and Bedrocam an $80 million market cap. And we're looking at a $12 billion company in a short period of time. So what you said earlier, Nicole, this really feeds onto that, which is it's moving at the speed of light, really. And, so there's a lot of merger and acquisition talk in the industry right now, both, private companies, people wanting to roll up into bigger companies. So it's really, really exciting times.
Wow, that's amazing. And so what do you feel like your higher purpose is? It's by being in this industry. I mean, besides serving your patients, your clients. Honestly.
Yeah, I would say helping people. I mean, I get a lot of satisfaction out of the fact that every one of these employees can go home to their family and say that they have full benefits with dental and long and short-term disability. These are some professional things that us and others have brought into an industry that was in the black market before. People that they were like benefits. What benefits in cannabis? So it's exciting to be able to see people create wealth for themselves, or create a beautiful life for their family. And when it's the right moral thing where you're helping people, the right business thing all the time, it's not. Right. We know that from this world.
That's right. That's right. And it's always good to be able to help people, right? That's the point. That's why we're here, for sure.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And so what do you see the overall benefits for actually legalizing cannabis for our economy, for the global economy?
I think it's a tremendous tax revenue. As I mentioned, that $30 billion number just in the United States. I mean, you talked about the Caribbean before. Can you imagine what that tax benefit could do to some of these Caribbean islands that maybe have hit hard, a Haiti or that have been hit hard by storms and things like that.
That's right. So, that's right. That's what I thought. That's part of my presentation. I'm presenting to the Prime Minister. Look, this will help us to build an infrastructure and an economy that we don't have to rely on anybody else for handouts or help when Hurricane Maria comes through, because they're still suffering. And so that's what I'm looking at as Hemp is being able to do for them.
100%. That's so exciting that you're making this presentation.
I know, I'm excited for sure. Yeah. I'd love to talk to you maybe about some pointers that you might have.
I'm happy to do it.
Okay, for sure. We'll do that off camera. So why, and so tell me this. So, you are considered to be one of the leaders in this industry. And so share with us, 3 of the tips that help you to get where you are right now.
I would say, check your ego at the door. If you're not willing to work alongside of your employees and, you're not going to have their respect, in my opinion. And I learned that from my husband. He has a big road construction business. He's the first one to jump on a piece of equipment, and help out while he's there. And he gains a lot of trust to the employees. I would say take every meeting, 1 out of 10 of them is going to be great. And maybe more than 1 out of 10, but I do take every meeting. And I would say, really have a motto that, losing's not an option. We're not going to lose here. We're going to continue to, fight the good fight and take steps forward with this plan.
Wow. So that's great. So motto, make sure that you're treating people, that you can do everything at the job, learn and treat people the same. And then make sure to take all those meetings, because you never know which one is that meeting. That's right.
Exactly.
That's some pretty solid points. I love that. I will add that to my everyday. Thank you so much. And so it's interesting because the industry changes so much now. And it's moving so fast. And so how do you think you most stay relevant? Like, do you all have apps for your dispensaries? Like what do you think you've done to stay more relevant?
So, customer service has always been a big deal for our company. We do a one-to-one consultant to patient or customer, and they're there to spend 30 minutes or however long it takes to really explain the benefits, of the plant and how this could help that particular individual. We also have beautiful stores, and I'll send you some pictures of some of the newest stores that we've opened. But they're high end, they're spa-like looking. It makes it's a very inviting environment for you and I to walk in and feel really comfortable as women. They have a Southwest flair to them, kind of copper accents. And we started in the Southwest, so we've taken that across the country.
That's awesome. It's exciting to hear that you as women and as a woman-led company, you are catering to making sure that we're included and being included on this industry, but also in the marketing of it, because we know we're the ones that come and get the medicine and need the taken care of, because we take care of our families. We want to take the initiative for sure. So that's
You're
great.
Absolutely right. And over the years, we've focused on female products that are geared toward females. The reason being, because most of the products, if we go 3 years back, were geared toward males, and studies show that the plant is smoked equally 50-50 by males and females.
That's right. All of us are consuming it. That's right.
Right.
For sure. But I think it goes back to a wellness thing as well, because
I agree.
When as women, we're the caretakers. And we are looked to in our families as the caretakers. And when it came down to it, your fondest memories of being taken care of I know mine was my grandmother, my aunts, my older aunts, of course, my mom. And I feel like when it came down to it, it was the mother that when there was a sick child, even going back to ancient times, when there was a sick child in the village, the mother was the one that went hunting in the woods looking for something that would help the child. Those are the stories that I was told.
Really?
So it's interesting. It's interesting how now we are coming back to a time where that's still the case, where the woman is still, we know, are the caretakers and the ones that we go to find the cure, whether it's a hottie tottie or it's a shot of some cannabis tonic. Because in the Caribbean, where I'm from, my ancestors, my grandmother had a jar in the back of the liquor cabinet that she kept rum in that had the leaf in it as well. And so it was like a tonic that you would get a spoonful of if you got a cough or started to come down with something. You get a spoonful of that tonic, and whatever it is, it's gone.
I love that. That's awesome.
You sweat it out, you cough it out, but whatever it is, it's gone. And so it's interesting now to just see how it's transformed me being the caretaker, trying to take care of myself. But also in that role, I'm helping other people, because now as an advocate, and being honest about what my story is, people are trusting me to find the right medicine for them. And so that's interesting how I'm the modern day medicine woman is the name of the documentary that I'm making. So that's kind of, it's
satisfying for you, right?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. This is what I feel like I was meant to be doing, to be honest.
Me too.
And so you've told us about your product and how unique it is. And do you think that that's what makes it so unique, is the catering to the women, as far as your service and products? I mean, I know you cater to everybody.
We cater to everybody. We've got products. I believe in having a full suite of products so that everybody can come in, and Health for Life is the brand of our dispensaries, and they can be helped at Health for Life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Is that healthforlife.com?
Healthforlife, Arizona.com.
Okay, got it. Yes, so we'll make sure we add that to our list. Thank you. So does the product itself, is it categorized as medicinal marijuana? Do you have any recreational facilities or dispensaries, or?
We do, actually. So we have facilities in 2 recreational states. One is Nevada and one is Massachusetts. So
Okay.
Massachusetts it's in a couple of months it will be recreational. So that's an exciting
Ah,
market as
that is
well.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, that is exciting. And so Arizona and Massachusetts, you said, are the recreational facilities?
So Nevada and Massachusetts.
Nevada, I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Okay.
And
And
then
then
Arizona and Maryland are the
and
medical.
Maryland are the medical. Oh, okay, got it. So, are those states? If I have a card like here in Georgia, can I use that card to buy in those states in like Maryland, for example?
You can't. So there isn't reciprocity in Arizona or Maryland. But when Nevada was only a medical marijuana state,
Yes.
there was reciprocity from all other states. So there
Uh,
are some. I think Rhode Island allows for reciprocity as well.
okay. Okay. Cool. All right. What would you say? The top five like tips that you would give people that are really interested in getting into this cannabis space, because there are people that get into it and jump out because they don't realize how hard it is, the perseverance and patience that it takes to get to where you are, for example. So what would you recommend for people that are just trying to get into this industry right now at this particular moment in history?
So I would say, be sure that you're well funded for the projects that you plan on undertaking, because I've seen a lot of people fail in that respect. Their financing pulls out. If you're interested in winning a license in a new state, dispensary is always the least expensive. Just because of the requirements of the build out for the laboratories to produce and then the cultivations to grow. I would say surround yourself with the best people that you can. I try to hire people that are much smarter than I am. And you're certainly going to have your few bad eggs here and there, but you weed them out, no pun intended. And then my theory of taking every meeting, having no ego, and getting up every time you get smacked down. I think that those are probably but know that it's hard, and know that things that are worth doing are mostly hard. And so hard work.
It's not supposed to be easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. And that's why you have the few that stick around, that have the perseverance to actually get through the process, because that's what it is. It's a process. And it's amazing how much you value the people around you, and how much you recognize that it's not just about you, it's the team that actually are the wheels, the oil in the wheels that help everything move and actually be successful. So that's amazing.
The people are the company. That's just
that's what it comes down to, right? Because without them, you wouldn't have a company.
Exactly.
You might have the idea in your head, but what you actually want to do and accomplish requires a team. You can't do it all. We try to, as women, do it all. I know.
We do. Yeah.
But it's physically and mentally, spiritually impossible to try to do it all. But that doesn't certainly stop us from trying. You as just a great person of influence in this industry. I mean, I know that you have seen the gamut of what it looks like from the beginning and what it looks like now as having a successful company. I think that you could inspire a movement that would bring, the most out of good people that want to come into this industry, because just from your story, being able to understand how important it is to take the values that you learned, even though in your youth, that you learned that even you can't just judge a book by its cover, right? Just looking at something, the plant itself, like you said, you grew up knowing that it was bad, and not having to get the education to really transfer this into such a successful business. What would you say that you would have done different, maybe, if you could, going back would there be anything that you would say, okay, I might not have done this way, just by the lessons that, because I know we all, you know, like you said, it doesn't always work out the way you plan.
I think, listen, I think my list of mistakes is longer than my accomplishments at this point. And you know, that's what they say. Your mistakes are what teaches you to be better. So my most expensive mistakes have been the ones that have been the biggest business lessons. So, you know, I would say that, you know, making sure that you're really vetting people that, you know, you're bringing in, because, you know, they're your inner circle. I would say don't listen to everything you hear, because every cannabis grower is the best grower in the world. Ever. And they're all master growers. You know, until you end up having a mold problem or something like that. But there are expensive mistakes in this industry. So that's what I would say. Just learn from your mistakes, for sure.
And if you could start an actual movement that would actually do the most good for the most people, you know, what do you think that could actually, you know, you never know what your idea, what do you think that could be though, it's that movement?
I think we really need more high level CEO, COO, president, CFO level females and minorities in the industry. And I'm seeing that happen now, and it's really, really exciting.
It is exciting. I'm watching it too. I to just be honest, I've only been in this a year. When I got diagnosed last year with chronic kidney disease and HIV, that is what straddled me into this stratosphere of me being able to really look for an opportunity to heal my body, and then recognizing I was already an entrepreneur. And so recognizing that I really needed to find a way to help take care of myself and my family. And so that's where the healing part came in, and wanting to take care of. But in this journey, I'm learning how to take care of so many other people just by learning about the plant. You know, so I would say, if anything, what would you say would be what would you say you would look in about 3 years? What is the goal for your companies? Like, what are your short-term goals that you actually are working on that's coming up that you can talk about?
Yes, exactly. I have to be careful because I've never been a public company officer, and I get so excited about all of our projects. I want to tell everybody about everything.
I know. Don't jump the gun. Not it.
I won't. We'll be in as many states as we can possibly get our hands on. We focus on limited licensing states. You'll never see us. I've got plenty of friends that are operators in Colorado, and they do extremely well. You'll never see us in a Colorado or a Washington state. We're going to stick with limited licensing states. I love California. We have a production deal in California right now, but that's a really exciting market. Seeing, you know, knowing that the estimates for California are bigger than for the estimates for the entire rest of the country. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
So, you know, as I said earlier, we would love to be at that race to the top to be the largest cannabis company in the United States. There's certainly other larger players than us right now, but we've got a lot in the works to get us to the, you know, the $1 billion level that we're trying for.
That's awesome. Having presence in every state. I love it. You know, and I think that you can help inspire. So you are helping to inspire so many other people, women, in general, just understanding what you have built, by keeping with that perseverance in this industry. One of my favorite quotes, and the reason I really fight, and I'm more of an advocate as well, by Frederick Douglass, was the catalysts throughout history have been the agitators. They're the ones that have really caused the change. And so it's not the ones that sit on the sideline and wait for change to happen. It's the ones that are on the front lines actually making the change happen. And so,
Mhm.
you know, what are one of those life lessons quotes that you say that you kind of take with you that helps you get through those
I
tough
have
times?
it right for you, right
Oh,
here.
that's awesome.
Well-behaved women rarely.
Really make history. I love that. Yes. That is awesome. Yes, I love that.
And,
So is
and,
that your
and
quote?
no, it's not. Is it, girls? Is it Eleanor Roosevelt's quote? Whose
Okay.
is it? Yeah, I think it
Got
is.
to the team. Okay, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna have to keep that. So what is, you know, before we leave, I want to make sure that you kind of tell everybody, are you hiring? Is there a way to get involved with what it is that you're doing? How can people kind of understand where they can fit into this market?
Sure. So we're a publicly traded company. So we're traded on the OTC boards here on the Canadian Stock Exchange. So we're an MPX Bioceutical Corporation, MPXEF here, and MPX.cn. We have a website. There's an info, you know, at MPX Bioceutical. Yes, we are always hiring because we're always growing, and we're
Right.
adding more and more talent. And you know, there's more and more really high quality people that are interested in getting in this industry, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing. Beth, thank you again for joining us. I want to make sure, though, that before we go, we can get an idea of what do you actually see as the future of the cannabis industry globally? Do you see it being more of a hemp dominated industry or cannabis, medical marijuana dominated industry between those two?
That is an interesting question, because I'm a big fan of hemp and all of the things that hemp can do. Forget
Right.
about just extracting CBD, but we could actually make paper thin bulletproof uniforms for our troops. And we're not doing that. It's so many things. Hemp Cream, and the list is crazy.
Endless. Yeah.
You know, I see, and if you see from like Constellation Brands, which is the liquor distribution company, investing billions of dollars into canopy growth in Canada, and they're able to do that there because it's federally legal. I see a lot of that starting to happen. None of us know what the timing is.
Yes.
But you know, branding, I think, is probably the biggest, most important thing in my mind, and I hope I'm right. But branding, you know, this is when the Seagrams and the Coors and, you know, they are being developed right now, like we saw at the end of Prohibition.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. And how do you think, I'm going to talk politics real quick. How do you think that this hemp bill, that the Hemp Farming Act that just passed in the Senate, if it's made legal in this country, how do you think that's going to affect the industry here? I mean, Forbes said by 2020, it's going to be $1 billion industry in the United States. But if they make it legal,
you know, I would imagine that it still really would, because there are so many uses for hemp. And yeah, you know, on the and hemp doesn't have the levels of THC that really, you know, get people high, so to speak.
Right.
So
that's right. That's right.
The marijuana plant seems to be, you know, the more controversial one of the two on the adult use side. But I'll tell you, I'd rather, and talk to a lot of law enforcement officers, they would much rather go in and you know, kind of break up, you know, a party that's too loud or something with a bunch of people smoking marijuana than drinking alcohol.
That's right. That's right. And I've had the same conversations with officers that you're absolutely right. It just, that's the way, the different types of parties and the way that the people react when they consume those different types of things.
That's exactly right.
So, okay, well, great. I think that It's again awesome that you were able to be here with us today and tell us more about your company. One more time, just before we go, can you tell us how the websites, give us a rundown of your websites, how we get in touch with you, how do we, if we want to have a follow-up question, if our listeners and viewers want to follow up with you and ask you a question or just find out more about you and your company, how would they
Sure. So I'm on Twitter, I'm at Beth Stavola.
Okay.
I personally make comments on there just about the industry overall. And then we're at MPX, like Mary Paul Xavier _ US.
Okay.
And then we're at Health for Life _ US.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. We really appreciate you being here with us on Legalize It, Don't Criticize It, another bonus episode. Thanks again, Beth. We really appreciate it. Any last words you'd like to leave with or tell our audience and our listeners?
No, I'm a yogi.
Words to live by. Namaste. Thanks again, Beth. You take care, all right? All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.
Okay.